Alright guys, so I was kind of just doing this in the background. Figured I'd probably show you because I think there's some life lessons in here. But I ended up buying this jet ski, and it's a 05 GP5 or GP800R. Nice jet ski. They normally go for around like $3,500, $4,000, but I got this one for $1,200 because it has this damage here. So this is where the jet drive sits, and this is just all sorts of carved out. They tried fixing it. There's actually some silicone in here that I need to get off. They tried siliconing it, and they tried fiberglassing it on the other side, and neither of them held because they forgot to install a spacer when they rebuilt the bearings in the back. So that allowed, here, let me find it. That allowed the impeller to kind of walk into the jet ski because this bearing moved in the back and destroyed a whole bunch of stuff. My garage is a mess as always, don't have enough space. Anyways, so it actually, you see this housing is just eating the heckin' back compared to a good one. So, and then they also, you see how far inboard it went, about an 1/8 inch into that. But basically what we're gonna do is I got everything stripped off down to bare. We're going to put a bevel on here, bevel on here, and we're going to basically rebuild this with a special compound for repairing our SMC, along with some fiberglass reinforcements. So we'll do it on this side, and then we'll come around. On the inside, and put a patch over it from the inside. So basically I'm gonna build a patch out as much as I can here, and then that'll add in any more support. Technically this shouldn't really be that structural of a repair, but I mean obviously torque's going through this, so it needs to hold, but it seems like it's pretty sturdy. So we will get working on that. All right. So I got this cleaned out and put a bevel on it. All the silicone that was in here is removed. Now this isn't the smoothest arc, but that'll be okay. So basically what I'm going to start with is I'm going to mask this area and kind of make the shape that it's supposed to be. Maybe a little bit off, but that's okay. And then we're going to go into the inside, and we're going to build our patch in here first. Then once that's cured and how I like it, we will take that off, or we will take off the masking tape, come around to the other side, and put that. So when you're building a patch like this, you'll want to kind of pyramid step the layers. So the first layer is going to kind of, or first couple layers are going to kind of fit in that crack, and then the next layers are going to kind of extend over more and more. We're going to build up probably 6 layers on this outside, so it's nice and strong. We'll come back and we'll do probably 2 on the inside, which technically I guess this is the inside, that's the outside. Either way, but that's what we're gonna do. So my next step is I'm gonna start cutting the fiberglass. So my plan for this is I'm going to measure how wide the opening is, and my first strip's gonna be about that size, and then I'm gonna go up a 1/4 inch probably each additional layer until I get to my 6 layers I'm going for. and then we'll start applying it. I can also see with the light that I need to scuff right there and right there underneath this cable a little bit better before I start applying, but I'll do that. So I decided just to do a voiceover for this part. So basically I have the two-part adhesive, and I'm going to come back through and smooth it out. So basically put it in, smooth it out. As you can see in here in a second, I'm going to start setting in the fiberglass. Obviously, yep, there's the fiberglass going in. Basically just try to get it even. I'll show you a little technique I kind of adopted while I was doing this, of just kind of halving it and folding it over the cable, and I know I can just set it straight down and put it in. But we're just kind of work it in with our fingers a little bit, kind of start everything wet, and come back with some more of the repair compound. And we're going to wet out the fiberglass with this. Look for pinholes and that kind of stuff, because the more, or like the less pinholes and voids there are in it, the stronger it's going to be. So we're going to try our best to get absolutely none of them. Obviously, there's probably going to be a little bit, but we'll be able to deal with that. It should be plenty strong, but just try to avoid that as much as you can. And there's the second layer going in. And after the first layer, we kind of cut through these to go pretty fast, because it's really just the same steps over and over and over again. The fiberglass kind of molds around the tunnel pretty well, like it stretches and moves. I'm pulling off any extra long hairs that are sticking to stuff. We're going to come back with more adhesive. So basically it's just adhesive, fiberglass, adhesive, fiberglass, adhesive, fiberglass. Just keep going back and forth till you get the thickness you want. And yep, more layers. Wear gloves when you do this, because it is messy, to put it lightly. It's a messy process, but yeah, try not to get any in the holes that the trunnion plate bolts to. See, I folded that fiberglass in half over the cable and set it right back down. So that helps center everything up well. Kind of in the beginning, just take measurements and find out how big your crack is. Cut your pieces to fit, so that you don't really have to worry about that as you're going. This is a two-part adhesive. You do need a special two-part applicator gun thing, which is basically a caulk gun with two plungers in it. They're kind of pricey, but it's worth it, especially if you're DIYing stuff. You know, what you save in labor, you spend in tools, but not really. I mean, labor these days has gotten so ridiculous. Probably why this makes sense for me to fix, but not really have any for anybody else to fix. But yep, just layer, repair compound, smooth it out over and over and over again. I think that was probably the last layer, but we shall see. I'm just talking while I watch. And if you guys have any questions about the materials I used, or any technique things, just let me know in the comments. Try to be pretty active there to help you all out. I think it's probably the last layer, because looks like I'm trying to actually do a good job of making everything look as good as it can. This stuff's kind of self-leveling. Yep, there we go. Now we sanded the inside, and going through and clean it off, make sure I got a nice clean surface. And the repair compound is a little bit drippier when you're working on the inside. As you can see, it makes a little bit of a mess, so mask off appropriately. I got some of this stuff I got to chip off my garage floor, but it'll be all right. So yep, same technique, spread it out. The fiberglass is a little bit more of a pain to work with from the bottom, because you're dealing with gravity and whatnot. Oh, I should mention while I'm doing this, the repair compound uses what they call static mix tips. So basically, you screw it on and it mixes itself and comes out. Well, those mix tips are one-time use. So what I did to save on those was I sped up the curing process on the inside with a heat gun. Basically, if you keep this material up to 180 degrees for 10 minutes, it reaches full cure within 10 minutes. So that's basically what I did, so I didn't have to use 2 mix tips because it has a 30-minute working time. But just go back through, and the fiberglass is a little bit of a pain too on this inside because the little hairs want to stick out on the top and bottom. But basically, we're just trying to cover up the crack and put a little overlap onto the normal, like the SMC that the machine was made out of. And we're just gonna smooth it out. There, I'm pulling some hairs out so I don't have to deal with that later. But really just, again, try to keep the voids to a minimum and all of that. So I sanded down the first layer, and I forgot to show you I added a layer of just the compound to help smooth everything out. But basically, this needs to be flat. This needs to be as consistent of a curve as you can. It's not really, or it shouldn't really be a huge deal. Make sure these edges right here are nice and sharp. But I'll probably end up doing a little bit more as a filler to just get this as smooth as possible to prevent, any turbulence or whatever of the water. But it's looking pretty good. After that, I'm gonna mask everything up, shoot a special kind of spray paint where it's 2-part activated, and it'll be just as strong as the original paint, but out of a rattle can, so it should be nice and easy. And then I'll show you. I sanded the inside too, and that's kind of what I came up with. I didn't really worry too much about getting this part really smooth because it doesn't really matter at all. So we'll just paint that. Once the battery tray and everything's back in place, you'll barely be able to see that, but we'll paint this too just to make sure everything's sealed in. I got my work done. There's a few little minor pits, but it won't matter. It won't affect anything. At least I don't think so. So I have this 2-part marine paint, and basically we're just gonna, shaking up real good. We have everything scuffed and cleaned. We're gonna spray, and we're gonna try to hit pretty much only the stuff we sanded, not the rest of it. So we're just gonna come through and Alright, so this is with the transom back on. I did order a new one of these, but they shipped me the wrong one, so I put some weld on that, so it looks a little funky, but it should clear and everything will be good. I'm going to dry fit it first, but as you can see, it doesn't look, I got some silicone there. It doesn't look, the most beautiful, but it's there. It should do the job. I got the impeller rebuilt, so now that actually has bearings in it, which is helpful. And I'm going to start putting this all together, but I just want to show you guys, that's it. That's back together. Hopefully tomorrow I can put this thing in the water and check for leaks and all that stuff. We are back from our water testing, and it did great. So really minimal water intrusion, which you know, you kind of see that on a jet ski anyways. Everything just drains into the bottom from splashing and whatnot. So that was good. Ran pretty good. I need to adjust the carbs a little bit or clean them or whatever we need to do with that. But either way, I'll get to that. Not a big deal for now. Trailer will be in my next area. This one's not been set up well for this machine and is looking kind of crusty, needs new bunks, so I will get that fixed up without too much issue. But yeah, the ski did great. Just kind of a good project to show that sometimes it's good to take on the projects that other people gave up on, because honestly, it wasn't a huge deal to fix. You know, kind of dealt with some things, but we got it done, and it was labor of love. You know, I'm going to enjoy this thing, and I got it on the cheap, so I appreciate that. So hopefully this encourages you guys to go out there and do it yourself, and thanks for watching.